Hey there, pirates! Welcome aboard the Anime No Mi channel. Ever since Borsalino, Admiral Kizaru first appeared using his light to demonstrate the boundaries and curiosities of the world, his behavior has always been fascinatingly ambiguous. He doesn't act out of malice, but out of curiosity and to a certain extent fascination. Kizaru isn't a chaotic zealot or a brutal tyrant. He's an observer, someone who analyzes the flow of the world with glowing eyes, almost as if watching a theatrical performance where he could intervene, but often chooses to just smile. This attitude opens a possibility. What if eventually that curiosity turned into genuine admiration for Luffy and his journey? No one can ignore what Luffy has become. The man who awakened the power of the sun. The one Scopper Gaban compared to a white flame. The one who ended Kaido's reign and brought the promise of freedom to the heart of the world. Every step Luffy takes resonates with the energy of the sun god, of balance, of true justice, the kind that doesn't impose itself through commands, but spreads through inspiration. It's a justice that shines from the inside out, not an oppressive force. And Kizaru, who has served the world government for decades, may feel that this new justice is emerging and that his own duty is starting to change meaning. Throughout recent arcs, there have been subtle signs that Kizaru isn't just loyal to the world government. He's also questioned its methods. When he saw Luffy and the Straw Hats dismantle Wano's oppressive regime, he didn't step in right away. He watched, he smiled, and he let the shock fall on the officers, almost as if he was waiting for something greater to happen. You could see this as mere opportunism or as patience, a willingness to see how Luffy would lead the revolution. Kizaru doesn't protect regimes, he protects ideas. If he sensed that Luffy's flame was different, that it went beyond simple rebellion, it would make sense for his interest to shift into quiet support or even a formal alliance. Another meaningful clue is Kizaru's behavior regarding the use of personal power. He distracts, observes, but rarely destroys unless there's an undeniable reason. He has his own code of ethics strange and different from the standard marine. What if his logic shifted completely upon realizing that Luffy embodies the true light of the sun? In that case, Kizaru might see himself not as an executioner, but as a curator, someone who preserves what matters. After all, Kizaru possesses the Pika Pika no Mie light fruit with absolute control over speed, beams, and pure energy. Symbolically, that makes him a literal being of light. But what is the purpose of light without a greater cause to shine for? Light that moves, blinds, and reaches distances can also reveal truth. Kizaru might feel that his power would serve a better purpose, not by upholding institutional chaos, but by supporting those who embody freedom with responsibility. The idea of a Marine Admiral voluntarily joining a pirate fleet is shocking, but not absurd within the mythology of One Piece. After all, we've seen pacifistas switch sides, like with the SSG project, former Celestial Dragons reform, like the son of the Tenryubito Luffy saved, and even Celestial Dragons themselves question the system. Ideological unity can override legal definitions. If Kizaru were to recognize in Luffy the embodiment of pure justice, the one the world government always claimed to uphold, but never actually practiced, then siding with the sun, God, would make more sense than continuing to serve a system that no longer inspires him. Narratively, this theory would explain much of Kizaru's ambiguous behavior in the post-Wano saga. He doesn't sink ships to block Luffy's advance. He helps indirectly, or even ironically. He smiles when he sees Luffy's fleet grow. That's not disloyalty, it's doubt. And doubt is the first step to switching sides, especially for someone who walks in light. This strange elegance of character is typical of Kizaru. Not quite a villain, not quite a hero, but someone who values the brightness of truth above all. If true justice is rooted in free will and inspiration, Kizaru might join Luffy not out of betrayal of the world government, but to protect what Luffy represents. He might close his eyes, literally, as he has before, and say, "I will follow that flame that burns away the false government." A formal request to join Luffy's fleet wouldn't be defection. It would be a merging of ideals. Institutional light joining with human light. It would be symbolic and powerful. This theory is backed by specific moments. When Luffy rejects formal alliances but gathers unlikely friends. When Kizaru begins stepping away from silent neutrality. When both characters show they follow their own moral codes and refuse to be pawns in a broken system. This isn't fan fiction, it's a logical conclusion based on how One Piece values ideals over titles. If Luffy is the sun god of freedom, then Kizaru is the herald bringing light to the realm of true justice, and he just might ask to join Luffy. The Marines were founded on the belief that maintaining world order requires a system of brute force based on absolute justice, a doctrine that claims any act no matter how cruel, is justified if it serves order. Akainu is its biggest proponent. However, Eiichiro Oda's story has consistently shown the moral collapse of that concept. Clear examples include the murder of civilians and scholars in Ohara, the attack on Ace even after he was in chains, Akainu trying to kill Kobe simply for asking the war to stop, the use of Cypher Paul to cover up historical truths. Faced with all of this, Kizaru, who has always presented himself as neutral, is being placed in an increasingly unsustainable position. He doesn't fit the profile of Akainu's blind enforcer, nor that of idealists like Fujitora. He stands somewhere in between. But this middle ground is also a place of growing discomfort. Staying neutral in a world where injustice is more and more obvious is to become complicit in it. Luffy, on the other hand, represents a justice rooted in empathy and action. It's not an ideology he preaches, it's something he lives. He doesn't make speeches about freedom, he practices it. He doesn't seek the throne, but instead brings change to everything around him. And this lived, organic, spontaneous justice stands in stark contrast to the imposed justice of the Marines. The collapse of absolute justice and the rise of lived justice are philosophical triggers for Kizaru. Not all Marines are the same. The story has always shown us Marines who question, who hesitate, who disobey because of their personal sense of morality. Garp is the clearest example. Sengoku is another. Smoker, Fujitora, and even Aokiji, who left the system to follow his own sense of justice. Within this context, Kizaru is a character who defies labels. Many fans accuse him of having no personality, but that's a shallow interpretation. His slow, lazy, ironic attitude is actually the mask of someone who is constantly avoiding taking a clear stance. He acts like everything is a game, maybe because he understands deep down that the system he serves can't be trusted. This is reinforced by his consistently neutral and questioning tone. Is this really the right thing to do? Are you all sure about this? That seems a bit excessive. These subtly critical remarks reveal that Kizaru is aware of the system's flaws, but he hasn't yet found a viable alternative. Luffy, with his natural leadership and refusal to manipulate others, may represent that alternative. Kizaru doesn't need to become a revolutionary or an outright deserter like Aokiji. He only needs to keep doing what he already does, follow the light. The difference now is that the brightest light no longer comes from the world government, but from a boy in a straw hat. And perhaps the most fascinating part is that the oppressed see Luffy as a liberator. The Tontadas, the people of Dressrosa, the Minks, the people of Wano, and now even people from the New World. As a man of light, Kizaru would be especially sensitive to this new light rising in the world because it's not an ordinary one. And as someone who literally moves at the speed of light, he might be the first admiral to truly feel deep within that the vibration of justice has shifted frequencies. It's no longer based on fear, but on inspiration. And that resonates with him. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.